Hello and welcome to my studio. I'm Jessie and this is the Knit Up and Dye podcast, episode 65, Touching Base. This is going to be a real short episode this week, guys. I've got a ton of cleaning that I need to do and I have stuff in the dye pot boiling away, so I need to be quick to get back to that. But as always, I'm going to start out with all of my thank yous. My new and ongoing subscribers, I love you guys. You mean the world to me, and your comments and suggestions, this is all about you. Please keep them coming. As always, hello and a warm welcome go out to Della, Carolyn, Ann, Stephanie84, Victoria, and Diane421. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for adding me to your lives. Special thanks and love go out to Patricia. Sorry, I can't read my list. Lisalete, Elaine, Cappy, Melody, Ruby Lou, Wayne, Tiffany, Carol, Catherine, Wombat of Doom, Jen, Lemore, Vishon, Marie, Linda, Bex, Wheezy, Cindy, Christy, Neetsy, Charlotte, Chris, Roseanne, Linda, Marie, Leanne, Eve, Linda, David, Donna, Betty Ann, Scott and John, Carolyn, Kate, Terry, Nancy, Rachel, and Wendy. Thank you for your messages. Thank you for your encouragement. And I wouldn't do it without you. I wouldn't. Hello and warm thank you, of course, goes out to all of my patrons. You honor me. So what am I doing? I'm dyeing. I'm dyeing a lot. I have a huge update coming to my shop. As I've spoken before, May is my anniversary month and I always do a big sale, so I'm working very hard to fill my shop with lots of new yarns, some new bases, some new colorways, the works. And it's bubbling away on the stove. Knitting. I got some knitting done this week, not a lot. I did work on my Dalen sweater. That sweater is down to the point where I should be separating for arms and body. I did a couple rows, I tried it on, and I found that I needed a little bit more length, a little bit more depth before I separate for sleeves. So I simply have to do a couple more rounds. And I haven't gotten to that. I did have some difficulty trying on the top to see if my armhole depth was deep enough. And it was actually, for as frustrating as it was really funny. I'm using my Addy Clicks, and with those there's a join bar that you can use to extend a couple of lines to have a really long circular needle if you need it. And I took advantage of that instead of throwing a lifeline in order to have enough circumference to try the sweater on. It's a top-down sweater. And I had it all clicked together and I pulled it over my head and I was pinching under the arms here and there seemed to be too much fabric all of a sudden. And it was because I didn't check the join where I joined the two cables together. And that join had come undone and I lost a few stitches off of it, which, no big deal. Put it back together, thought, should have checked this better, and knit another couple of rounds. Then I went to try it on again. And I pulled it on over my head and everything was good. And now I need a couple more rounds. And I went to take it back off and the needle got stuck. Stabbing myself essentially in the breast. Pulled it off over my head after I had impaled myself a couple times, only to discover that the other side of the join bar had come undone, and while I was wrestling to get the needle point from embedding into me, I managed to drop, I don't know, 60 stitches or so. So I snapped another point onto the line that had dropped and threaded it all through and reconnected it and double checked my connections this time. Just really rookie mistake, silly thing. Couldn't believe I dropped that many stitches. It was late in the evening. I was frustrated. Got it all pinned back together and thought, okay, you know, we learn from this. We double check our joins now. And then I was watching another podcast the next day quite surreptitiously at work. Things were slow. I wasn't watching so much as I was listening, and everything's quiet in the office. I've got my earbuds in. I'm listening to this podcast. And if you have not yet checked out Baba Yaya, Wendy, I love you. The podcast is fabulous. She is just a delight. She's amusing and she's fun and she's down to earth and she's very real, and I love her. I love her. And thank you, Betty Ann, for pointing me in the right direction, because that's gold. And here I am. I'm pretending to work and doing some of my things real slow to fill the downtime that I have, and listening to Wendy. And all of a sudden she starts to go off about how she was trying on a sweater and had the very, very sharp double points stab her in the boob, in which I tried to contain my laughter and ended up snorting so loud that I scared the girl on the next pod from me. I can relate. I can relate. I'm making progress on my sweater, but I do need a couple more rounds, and then I'll separate and I'll try it on again, but I'm going to double check my joins before I do it, and we'll go from there. I finished a sock. I got one of my squircle socks done. Did I bring, making sure I have a sock blocker so I can hold this up and really show you. I should have been better prepared, but clearly I'm trying to squeeze in a quick podcast, and I have cleaning and I have yarn and I have so much to do. One of my squircle socks is done. I love this. What I particularly like about this pattern is the way the heel is designed so that it really makes use of self-striping yarns, and you can really see the angle here. The back, I'm going to twist this around kind of weird on the blocker just so that you can see how that heel shapes up. See if I can do this in such a way that you can see the back of the heel. It's not an easy thing to show on a flat piece. There we go. We'll pretend that the toe of this is a heel. This is the back of the heel of the sock. So this is your heel flap here. Oop, doing it mirror. Here's your heel flap here, and this is these wonderful angles are forming. I love it. I think it's such a fun pattern. It's great fun with self-striping yarns, and certainly if you're manually striping, it'll do the same thing. This pattern was by General Hog Buffer. It's a free download on Ravelry, and great instructions, easy to do. I, of course, complicated my world because, yeah, just knitting a pattern is so blasé. I complicated my world by converting the pattern to knit it wrong side out so that I could make use of the ease of purling with Portuguese knitting style in order to really get the Portuguese style set into my memory, into my muscle memory. And I had to do a few conversions to how you do decreases to do them wrong side. And I had to learn how to do the wrong side Kitchener, which is not difficult. It really isn't difficult. I'm looking at, it's not an expert join. It was my first time round, but it's not a difficult join to do, and certainly you can Google anything. Really, if you want to try something different, Google it. Everything is possible. So I have a sock, and I have moved my physical therapy tubing. I have my second sock on the lines here, so yay, I have a tiny little bit cast on, and I'm excited to get this pair done. This pair will earmark for me learning Portuguese knitting, and that new style of knitting is really, it's an effort on my part to move my body language, my body use, and equalize it left to right a little bit more, because I make too much use of my right side and it's aggravating my rotator cuff injury. I'm doing my physical therapy. I have my exercise tubing here, and I carry it in my knitting bag on purpose. A, because my knitting bag is always with me, and therefore so is my exercise equipment, and to remind me to do my exercises anytime that I want to knit. I have to do my exercises before I'm allowed to pick up my needles, and that's helping as well. I've had significant improvement this past week. despite the aggravation that I'm adding to the system by dyeing yarn. There's a lot of lifting when you're dyeing yarn, lifting pots, and there's a lot of hot boiling water when you're dyeing yarn, which is, the humidity can affect me. There's a lot going on in that process, and I'm trying very hard to take care of myself, but the exercises I've done this week have really helped. Moving on. Community. The Sweet Tea No Shade Cowl Cal is still in effect. That is going along, that knit along is going until April 30th. There's still time. We get 2 weeks. You can easily knit a cowl in 2 weeks. Pop in, join in, have some fun. Make it your first knit along, make it your 100th knit along, and go make yourself something special for you. Tiffany Foppy. Thank you, Tiffany. Tiffany Foppy is from Tippy Tree Yarns. I'm sorry, Tiffany. And we did a giveaway. The giveaway was for a copy of Knit Notes, a reversible drawstring project bag, a skein of Tippy Tree Yarns in the color Riot. This is gorgeous. Thank you, Tiffany, so much for allowing me to pay this forward and do the giveaway. This was on Instagram. I'm sorry, it is closed. It is closed. I drew the winner this morning. My winner was Dawn Dream 7. Hi, I'm so excited. More things are going to get added to this, lots of secret fun things, and it's going to get shipped right out to you. Congratulations, I'm thrilled. Thank you to everybody who participated. It was wonderful. We met so many new people through this, and there's going to be more giveaways, I promise. It was really, really exciting to get your messages and hear from you guys, and to hear how many of you just wanted an opportunity to experience a new yarn. So there will be more of that coming, absolutely. The design along. Okay, we are closing the voting thread. The voting thread was to choose a theme, and we have chosen a theme. The majority rule, and I think it's the only one we selected, was connection. That's exciting. I'm really excited by that. I feel like I connect to you when I do this, and to make that the theme for my first design along, I'm inspired by it. I'm going to go with whatever the group chose, so I'm going with connection as well. If you want to participate, please come in. You're welcome to go along with our theme of connection, or you're welcome to go your own way and do whatever inspires you. Please feel free, now that we have our theme chosen, to post pictures in the voting thread of things that make you think of connection, things that symbolize connection. We're just looking for images that feed to our theme to inspire us. I'll be putting images up as soon as I have time, and otherwise you're welcome to join in and post pictures there as well. There is a thread there for chatter and questions. Please feel free to use it. There will eventually be a thread for finished objects, but right now we're just in the boilerplate stage where we're starting to creatively think. We have our theme, so now we're choosing what kind of a project we want to have and what connection means to us, how we're going to embed our theme into our designs. We also have an open call for prize donations. If you're interested in donating a prize for the design along, I haven't sorted out yet whether we're going to do a drawing or a voting thread for winners, but we are looking for prizes. If you're feeling generous, please contact me. That pretty much is everything. I don't have a lot to show you. As soon as I have yarns dried and twisted up, I'll show you guys that. There will not be a podcast next weekend. I am so sorry. I am going to be out of town for the weekend, and I simply will not be able to record on the road. So thank you very much for missing me. I'll miss you, and I will see you the weekend after. Message me. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear what's going on in your world. If you're doing physical therapy, keep doing it. It's so important. And exercise your attitude as much as you're exercising your body, because thinking positive is the best way to heal. I love you guys. I'm going to miss you next week. Have a good one. Bye.